See, next up, the captain of Team Europe, Osku Palermaa, up against the oldest player in this year's Weber Cup, 46-year-old Pete Weber, son of legendary Dick Weber. So no pressure then. Right, let's hand over to our commentary team of Cass Edwards, and first up, it's Nick Halling.
Yes, and there's no truth in the rumour that Pete Weber here once beat Clint Eastwood in a Clint Eastwood lookalike competition. He wears the dark glasses because of the spotlights, he says. Well, it doesn't hurt the image, does it, Cass?
It also enhances his bad boy image, which he's got not only on screen, but off screen. But that's all tongue-in-cheek. So,
the new Team Europe captain, Osku Palermaa, at 24 years old, with that distinctive double-handed style, opens up with a strike, but there is no such thing as an easy match in the Weber Cup, as we said before, but I don't think he would have picked Pete Weber as an opponent for his lead-off. And there will be questions asked if Team Europe struggle here, because Palermaa at 24 years old was a bold choice for captain when you think of the experience of the likes of Torgerson and Koivuniemi. And then you get Pete Weber. You got the golf club going with the thumb cut away, and you've got the dark glasses, and you've got a guy who can rack up strike after strike. The man from St. Louis, Missouri, 46 years old. St. Louis, the gateway to the West, but this man looks like he's just ridden in from the Wild West.
54 300 games on the PBA Tour as Pete Weber.
And here's Osku going with that style. Oh, he's opened up nicely, hasn't he? Well, we need a captain's innings, to borrow a cricket terminology here.
Yeah, I think Osku's going to try and come out of the traps.
Yeah, it's got to be a macro performance, isn't it, from the Team Europe captain, a real maximum effort job. Let's see if Weber can carry on history. Now, we see a lot of guys, especially on the American side, go for power and revolutions, but Pete is a much more controlled bowler, but it's still just as effective at the back end. He can back it up. So too can Osku Palermaa. These two have gone out the traps like a couple of greyhounds, haven't they?
Absolutely, first turkey for Osku.
They were so young when they started bowling, they couldn't lift the ball up with one hand. They didn't have enough strength, so they did it with two hands and just stayed with it, and hey, it worked. So why change something that isn't broken? And oh, the 10 doesn't go. It looked like a decent pocket hit, but the 10 didn't carry.
It was a decent pocket hit. Unfortunately, the ball sailed off to the right-hand side of the lane slightly. Freshly dressed, freshly oiled lane, and you see that ball's just got out a little bit too wide.
Look at the revs, Cass.
Lower revs, not quite the best angle into the pocket, leaves the 10 pin.
So the speed isn't changing, and he's got some revs on that one as well.
He says he wears the glove for comfort only. It's a basic golf glove with a piece in the palm that's cut away for his thumb to come through, and there he's just showing us. But it's purely for comfort, and he also says sometimes he gets splits on the inside of his third and middle finger.
Just bowled a very tight line again, and yeah, I think he just about got away with that one, and he knew it. Wasn't the most convincing pocket hit, but a lot of revs made the pins do the work.
Over 500 revs, what a comparison that was to Pete Weber. Great style of Osku, the two-hander, so good, and hopefully the rest of the team.
Pete leaves that 10 pin again. Interesting. Now that'll just sow a little seed in the back of the mind. Do I have to make an adjustment here? And Tim Mack was banking on this one as a point.
Absolutely, yes. Again, that wide angle into the pocket. That's the reason the 10 pin's standing up. Jumps that 6 pin around the 10. Here comes the harder spare ball. We'll have some rotation on it, but it should go pretty straight. As it does. No deviation there. And a simple spare. Second player in all time to win money. And Osku's shot 5 in a row. As I say, Pete is the second highest player of all time on the money winning list in the United States.
Well, anytime you got this two-handed technique going, the revs are going to be high.
5 strikes in a row.
And Weber finally kicks over that pin, which was reluctant to go. Slow motion on the 10 pin. Needed that, didn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. He wasn't hanging around, was he? Got straight about the chair and shot.
And there's Tracy, Pete Weber's wife. Has made the journey over. Supporting Not only Pete, but the whole of Team USA, and they need all the help they can get right now because Osku Palerma's on fire. And I'd like to bring Guy Kaminski in on this, actually, if I may, because there were a lot of questions asked about the captaincy choice of this young man. And Guy, it's so far so good, isn't it?
I tell you, I can't tell you how impressed I am. He's really stepped up at 3-1 down. I mean, I know it's early, it's only Friday night, but they are staring down the barrel of a gun at 3-1 if he loses this. To play Pete Weber, one of the greatest to ever have played this game, and to take him on, and also he's a showman, Pete Weber, and he's taking him on in his own game, and I don't think Pete likes it at all.
Pressure. As he sees his opponent put 6 down, and he's got to match it. There's another double for Pete, so he's not out of this yet. And as we've said so often in the past already. Well, we have 6 down for Osku Palerma, who is the lead-off man in this match as well. So every time he strikes, he really does force Pete to respond, and he's looking sensational. Absolutely sensational. Europe's #1, who had a rotten day.
And this is a man that's got to get locked and loaded.
Well, he certainly can't afford anything less than a strike. This will be Turkey if he nails this one. But it's got to be all 10. And it's left again for the 3rd time in the match. That 10-pin sits in the corner, and that was almost the I surrender hands up there from Pete Weber. Sort of, what on earth do I have to do?
Yeah, again, it could just be that angle of entry that he's got. It's a soft speed, soft revs, and a spare, unfortunately, is not really good for him. And he's just having a little look over his glasses saying, what can I do now?
This is interesting, isn't it? I mean, Pete is not bowling badly, for goodness sake. He puts the 3 up there. 3 times that's happened. He's not bowling badly. 247.
If he does make that adjustment, will it work?
It's the revs as much as anything. It gives him a bit of a margin for error, doesn't it? Because there's so much pin action on contact.
Well, Osku is totally on fire. 8 strikes in a row. And I'm just wondering if, and there we see the fantastic two-handed style. Again, over 500s, yeah, absolutely ridiculous.
Look at those pins. You know, they're dancing around all over the back end there, staying up. So what's Weber going to do in response? Well, he's in the pocket again, all 10 go. Well, what a frustrating evening it's been for Pete Weber on his Weber Cup debut as well. Nothing he's done wrong, nothing at all.
Well, he can't do any more. He's put every ball in the pocket. But so has Osku, and he's struck 8 times. Pete's only struck 5 times, I'm afraid. 9 would set up a great finish.
There it is. You know what we're thinking. That pretty much wins the match and gets the point for Europe. But let's get the other story boiling here. Pete Weber didn't come here to be best supporting actor, did he? But
absolutely not.
He's had no luck on 3 10-pins. That's the story.
I think secretly
10 out of 10. Yes, it is. It's boiling up nicely.
And the Moose Patrol go ballistic.
Everybody watching intently, and just about everybody willing Osku Palerma on his Weber Cup captaincy debut. Can he get another? No. Oh, what an anticlimax. Oh. But what a performance as well. We wanted the 300, but if you wanted a captain's performance against a legend, well, you got it. And he threw that one away because it doesn't matter. Great stuff from Osku Palerma. What a start to a captaincy.
Wow. Pete just finishing off. There's nothing he can do.
Well, Pete's seen enough of these things. He knows what caliber of opponent he's going to be facing here. But I guess
to win a game. Well, unfortunately, he hasn't done it, and he's lost. Earns himself a bonus ball in the 10th frame. Strike for 226.
I think the Americans had a real expectancy here as the crowd gets into this last ball from Pete Weber. They had an expectancy that Pete Weber would tame this young Finn. It hasn't beyond his years there. That was a magnificent performance. He's blown away arguably the most dangerous player in this field by 60 pins. 284, plays 224.